All right, it's about to get spooky right now, obviously, especially when you see us two on the screen. You know it's going to get paranormal. We're going to be talking about some paranormal entities tonight. But before that, I want to talk about TikTok because I know you're big on TikTok, Electra. You love TikTok, right?
I love to upload on there. I feel like it's a great place to share more information. That's what I care about.
Are you
But
a
yeah.
big TikTok consumer, though, or are you just a poster?
Honestly, I'm not a big TikTok consumer at all. I used to
Really?
be. I used to like just scroll for hours like other people do. But I learned I can't like spend all my time on there, but it's really funny. I
you
just love funny TikTok.
It'll happen. You'll fall down a rabbit hole. Like I'll open a TikTok for the show, like to download it, or like I have one today that we're gonna show on the show. So I'll go download it, and next thing I know, 2 hours later, I'm like, how the hell am I here now? I just came off for one thing, or Justin will get me the most. He'll send me a TikTok, and I'll be like, I'll text him back like, bitch, you got me on here for 45 minutes now. Like what the hell?
You
He's like,
just
I didn't
scroll
do that.
one.
Yeah, I'll just keep after his. I'm like, oh, that was funny. Let me see what's next. Let me see what's next. Wow,
Mhm.
so you've overcome the TikTok consumption. You've overcome the addiction. Good for
I
you.
had to. Thank you.
So how do you? So you just go on there, post, and you leave. You're done.
Yes, I
Smart.
pose, I clear my cache, and then I just pay.
you
That
just
shit blows.
you use
It's
you
really
just use it
hot.
as a bank now. You just take the money out of there and you're done.
I'm out. Bye.
Wow, good
Like,
for you.
yo,
Good for
thank
you. Yeah. So how do you feel about the ban then? Because they've been talking about banning it before, and now they're talking about banning it again. How do you feel
you.
about that?
It's actually so crazy you say that because last night I was just watching a video on someone's opinion on that. And I actually think this is the least concerning thing of this world to be focused on. I feel like a lot of things are very distractment based kind of thing. I feel like it's very oppressive because I mean TikTok is very clearly to me the most maybe not the most reliable source, but definitely a very, very helpful informational source that people actually look forward to going on and using, looking up knowledge and information that is very helpful. And I've learned a lot of tips on there. There's crazy amounts of information that people know. I just feel like no, it's very unnecessary to attempt to ban something like that.
Right.
It's impactful, you know? Maybe that's why they're doing it.
That I mean, that's what I think anybody with 2 cents to rub together will think. It's not an app that is censored like every other app, so that's probably the problem. That's the problem. That every other app is heavily censored and heavily swayed one way. So since this app is not that way, that's why they want to get it taken down because they want to. They don't actually want it to get it taken down. They want TikTok to sell to an American company. If they don't, then they want to ban it. That's what their first thing was like. Oh, we want you to sell to an American company, and if you don't, we want to ban you. So I think it's
No.
out of control. I think it's crazy. I love TikTok, and now they got the TikTok shop on there. Did you see that?
Yeah, they've had that up for a while, I think, but they invite, I believe, creators or something to sell on there. I
Which
can't
is
remember
great
exactly how it
because it's
works.
hard. I feel like it's hard to start selling stuff on your own. I mean, it's a little easier these days. But if you're a TikTok creator and you having your own shop on that app, they don't even have to leave the app. That's amazing. I didn't even know they were doing that. I didn't know that they were letting small creators sell stuff on there.
I believe so. I know that I've gotten an invitation a lot of times, but I never like truly looked into it. But now that you say that, maybe I will. We'll
That's
see.
yeah, you should. Hell yeah. Let us know what you selling and how much it is, and we'll
Right?
we'll plug it
Just
for
put
sure.
it right up.
I think the TikTok shop is cool. I like it. Love TikTok, and especially because I found a special item that we both got the other day on the TikTok shop. I was scrolling Instagram at like 3 in the morning, and I got an alert that Coca-Cola was doing a special Coca-Cola briefcase on TikTok for only like $7. Okay, this right here, which we both got,
Mhm.
and this has two Coca Colas in it and a couple other things. We're not gonna say what it is because you're gonna have to wait till Friday when we unbox this on the channel. But we got the very exclusive TikTok Coca Cola briefcase that you can't even get anymore because it's only 7,000.
That's crazy.
We got it for only $7 freaking. So stay tuned for that. Come back Friday so you can see what's inside the briefcase. Love TikTok, especially because there's tons of paranormal, creepy videos on there. Let me tell you what, if I was a kid, I would be on TikTok all the time watching spooky videos. Like I would be on there way more than I am already now. And
Yeah.
a lot of them are fake. Let's put it. Let's be real about it. A lot of them are bullshit, but it's fun. But I
Yeah.
saw one in specific that I thought was very interesting, and we're gonna take a look at it right now.
Okay, first of all, why didn't anyone tell me that if you have yeah? My bad. So I forgot. I didn't think about it. I'm home alone, and I thought someone called me, and maybe it was my cat, and she sounds like a human sometimes.
Ew.
Did you
That's
hear
so
both of the voices in that video? Because there was
yeah.
two. That's insane, right?
Yes. Right. I feel like that's some dark spirit. That's what it feels like. Like energetically, it feels like an entity trying to mess with that girl.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really as strong as she thinks, and that's just my intuition right now. But go ahead.
So for those that were just listening to that and they don't know exactly what was happening, it was a woman making a TikTok. She was like doing her makeup or something like that. She was just making a regular TikTok, and all of a sudden she hears something call her name, and she responds, and she looks around, but she's home alone besides her cat. And then she starts talking to the camera again, and that's when you hear her name again, but I don't think she hears it that second time. Very, very creepy video. So you think it's a dark entity in that video?
I feel like it is, like intuitively, because I deal with that kind of stuff a lot. Not even like for myself, but for clients and things like that. And I can immediately feel if a spirit is not so good, if it's a good one and things like that. And to me, that feels like a spirit that's trying to mess with that girl. Like I can feel it for
Right.
real.
So you think that video is legit? You think it's real?
Yes, I feel like it's real.
I'm gonna say that I'm leaning towards real. I can't say 100%, but I'm damn sure close because you can easily fake that video. I'm gonna put it that way. But the ones I looked at her TikTok, her account, and none of it is about ghosts. None of it is about anything scary. That was the only one she made besides the update on that video. It's not like she's into the paranormal like that I know of from what I've seen. So that was my first clue that could be real, because it wasn't like she was in, like, she's trying to go viral on that side of TikTok, on the paranormal side of TikTok.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like that was just an experience that she did not expect.
Yeah.
And she's that, it's
Because
crazy.
So after that video, I saw a couple other videos where similar things were happening, where people were like, oh my God, something's calling my name. And it was a lot more dramatic than that video. The other videos were a lot more dramatic, and some of the creators super niche into paranormal. So that made me think, first of all, the over dramaticism of it, and how they're pretty much all about the paranormal. I think those are all fake, in my opinion. If any of them is real, it's this video right here, and that would be insane if it was real.
I feel like a lot of it, you just have to feel your intuition out, because a lot of people do make videos for clickbait, kind of, for just for skits, and I mean, any kinds of video, but even that, especially, someone could be in the other room knowingly and making the noise for them on purpose. But yeah, for sure.
That's what I got from one of them. It was like, oh, something's behind this door talking to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's definitely a person there. And some of them, I'm like, it's easy to edit these. Everybody can edit a video and edit in a creepy sound these days. This one just seemed a little too real for me. The only thing I wish she did was scan the room with her phone. Do a 180 of the or 360 of the room, so we knew that nobody was there.
Yeah.
But if she edited that, she did it in a very smart way, because it wasn't overt. It wasn't like super. It was just creepy. How low it was, and it was good. If that was a fake one, it was good. But I'm thinking that was real. Okay, and this video sparked me going down a rabbit hole on TikTok of something called a mimic. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
You want to say what it is?
Yes. Well, first let me ask you, are you referring to basically when a spirit talks to you or calls you in the voice of maybe someone or a human voice, and it's not anything?
Exactly. Exactly. It's a spirit that can copy your voice or a person you love's voice. And actually, from the research I've been doing, and I think you might have been on the Halloween show, because you were on the last two that we did, Halloween in July and Halloween, where I'm pretty sure we had that story where the girl was walking around her house hearing her son and seeing her son when he wasn't there.
Yes, I remember that. I remember saying this too.
Right. So the mimic looks like it can materialize into the actual person as well, just like the actual form of them, not just the voice of them. Because as I was going down rabbit holes, I was reading stories of people saying that they have actually seen their loved ones in the house when they weren't there, or like somebody would say, "Oh, my boyfriend was taking a nap. Next thing I know, he's in the kitchen, and then he actually like comes out of the room." Like, but I thought he was in the kitchen, but he disappeared from the kitchen, whatever, and he was still in the bedroom the whole time. Or they'll say, I saw my wife go into the bathroom, and then I walked in, and she wasn't there anymore. She was actually in the bed the whole time.
That's definitely happened, and I know people who had experiences like that too.
Really?
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
have like firsthand or secondhand accounts of this.
Yeah, I know. One of my tattoo artists actually, he's from Mexico, and he said that when he was in Mexico, he was watching a movie in one of the rooms, and then he saw his mom pass by to go to like in the hallway, I guess, to go to her room, and then he called her, and then he got up to go see her, and she wasn't even there. She was like in
Oh
her
my
room. She was in the other side of the house. It was not her. And he couldn't he told me, he's like, I know that was a spirit, and I just knew too, bro. Like that definitely was something.
That is insane. Can you imagine if you seen something like that? I don't know what I would do.
Oh,
That
mother,
is
I'm good.
that is out of control. The stories I like reading is when the whole family is getting it though, because then you know it's not just one person getting it. It's not like that person's crazy or they're losing their mind. I mean, some people bring up carbon monoxide leaks, which is definitely possible. But I've been reading some stories where the family have been saying like they've been dealing with mimic behavior, mimic activity in the house for years. So I got one story from Reddit that I'm going to read. We got some other stories that we're going to read later on, but I got one mimic story here. It says, my kids have always said our house is haunted. Recently, we've all had experienced what I would describe as a mimic, and it seems to be ramping up. The first time, just a couple of weeks ago, I heard my 17-year-old son say, "Mom, hey mom," right behind me. He was at school, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Yesterday, I heard my husband say, "What are you doing, babe?" And today, my son heard his dad calling him from the basement. Is this demonic? So this one, you can see the whole family is hearing. The son's hearing the father, the mother's hearing the son. Absolutely frightening. This one, they didn't see anything, but I did read other stories with like, oh, I saw my wife walk into the bathroom, and then I turn around, she's actually in the bed. And I've read a lot of these stories. I thought me going on Reddit or going online, I would see like maybe 2 or 3. I saw a bunch and most of them seem legit. Most of them seem realistic.
Yeah, they definitely are. And that's definitely real. It happened to my brother. He's heard me call. I remember back when I was being like being haunted basically a few years ago.
Yeah.
My brother was hearing back to back to back me calling him. And he kept saying, yeah. And I was like, I'm not calling you. And he kept telling me, I keep hearing you calling me.
My God.
Yeah.
See,
so.
like, everybody has those like the little tricks that your mind plays on you. You hear your mom calling you, like, oh, that actually wasn't my mom. That was like maybe something else, or maybe I was just tripping out. But when it happens consistently like that, and then you start seeing stuff, that's when it gets out of hand. That's when it gets crazy. So now I thought all this was the only one I remember like that's like this was doppelgangers, because we talked about that, and I thought that in the last episode that I'm referring to that it was a doppelganger, but now I know that there's another one called a mimic. So I think like a mimic is a spirit, and who knows what a doppelganger is? It may be like it's more like a real, like a more tangible entity probably. Who even knows?
Yeah. They say like with doppelgangers, it's like a real version of you, like parallel kind of, but not parallel. It's just you in a different form.
But you're like, it's a physical thing. It's not like a spirit. It's not like a spirit.
That's not spiritual. Mimic is definitely a spirit that is doing exactly that, mimicking you or a loved one to trick you, to scare you and things like that. But I mean, if you don't entertain it, they'll leave you alone. It's just it's always about energy.
Would you rather deal with a doppelganger or a mimic?
A mimic. I could get rid of that in 2 seconds. Thank God.
Doppelganger, you have to kill him if it's real. It's like a real person.
Like that's some real shit.
If it's flesh and blood, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, it is.
On the last show that you and I did together, I told you about black-eyed kids, right? And you didn't know what it was.
I
which I was
remember you told me, and
shocked.
I remember all that.
I
Yes,
was shocked that you didn't know about Black Eyed Kids because that's one of the most famous entities around, one of the most famous urban legends. Did you ever do any more research on them since that
I did.
episode?
I did, and it's funny actually. I feel like I've actually dealt with that like years ago, and I didn't know it until you told me what
Really?
that
What
was.
happened to you
Yeah.
years ago?
Oh my goodness. Like I was I was being haunted. My boyfriend and I were both being haunted by just spirits on just not back to back to back spirits. And I remember it was it was a group of like children, I guess. It was a boy, a girl, and another boy, but they were all younger children. And I remember we were being shown visions of these kids and everything, and they looked so free. They had like no soul, no
Oh, so you
eyes,
saw
no
them like
nothing.
in your head.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah, I saw them, well, from a psychic
Yeah,
perspective.
like a vision. Yeah.
Yes, very
Not like in
scary,
front
but
of
I
you.
remember hearing it, and I remember you can hear them and things like that, and then
Ooh.
seeing them and having dreams. I would have dreams about it, and I remember
Yikes.
just, no, I'm
That's
good.
scary. That's scary. Black Eyed
Not.
Kids have been around. I think the first sighting was 1966
Mhm.
from this dude, and he was talking about they I think came up to his car, and ever since then, stories upon stories of Black Eyed Kids have been circulated in the internet all over the place. One of my favorite things to look into, one of my favorite things to just listen to, but it's actually one of the scariest. Whenever I got some Black Eyed Kid content up on YouTube or something, I'm freaked out the whole time.
I feel you.
I'm always on edge, thinking the door's gonna knock. And our buddy
Oh,
Justin, he's terrified of the Black Eyed Kids. I texted him last night, so you better get fucking ready because the Black Eyed Kids are coming back on the show. He said, "Oh no," he didn't even want to listen to that episode that I did about them. He think it took him like 2 weeks to get around
oh
to
my,
listen to it because it's scary, man. It's actually one of the most fascinating, along with the Hat Man. The Black Eyed Kids go hand in hand with that for me as the scariest entities around and the most fascinating because there's so many stories about them and no real evidence, I guess, but so many different stories, so many different accounts of them. And we're going to
yeah.
hear some of those accounts right now. I picked some, I scoured the internet and went on Reddit and stuff, and I found some Black Eyed Kid stories, so we're going to listen to some right now. Let's check out
Serious.
the first one.
I was working in an office that did mainly business-to-business sales and rentals. Since we weren't in a great part of town, and we weren't exactly open to the public, I kept the door to our office locked. The only way to work the lock was with a key from either side. I had stepped outside to go on a sales call. We had tint on our door that allowed me to see out, but was mirror tint from the outside. I tended to look out before leaving because it was a rough area, and I was a young female working alone. This was about 12 years ago, so I was mid-20s. I looked out, and there were 2 young men walking about a block from me. No big deal. I could easily be safely to my car before they reached where I was. Before I know it, the kids, both looked around 15-ish, were much closer than they should have been, like they had walked a city block in a split second. My flight or fight kicked in. I had no reason to be afraid, but I felt deep fear, so I went back inside and locked the door from the inside. I'm not even sure how to describe the fear I felt. That led me to rush back inside. These kids started banging on the door. Only one of the 2 spoke. He said, "We need a phone. Let us in." I yelled no through the door. He kept banging on my glass door so hard it was vibrating. I threatened to call the cops. They kept banging and begging to use the phone. I finally got brave enough to get a better look at them so I could give a description to the police, and their eyes were pitch black. I'm not super religious, but I just yelled, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave." And they
Serious.
disappeared. Just vanished. I had never heard of the Black-Eyed Kids phenomenon before this event.
There you go. That's what you got to say. You got to summon Jesus on them.
She
That's
did
it.
that. I'm proud of her. Usually, like the story ends like I was terrified and they disappeared, and that
Yeah.
was it. She
Right.
took matters
I
into her
cowered
own
in the
hands.
corner for hours till they were banging on the door, and then they left eventually. But nah, this is the only Black Eyed Kid story I ever heard where Jesus was involved, where
Serious.
somebody threw that name out there. That's what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah,
great.
it helps. Believe me, it really does.
That's great. Yeah, I wish I didn't really preface the story with what the black eyed kids were, in case you didn't know. It's like I said, it's a urban legend from 1966 where people claim that they see these children. They usually come to your front door and they ask for some assistance. They ask to come in, and people notice something creepy about them. They notice that their skin is pale, and then they all of a sudden notice that their eyes are black. People think that the kids can read their minds, and they just have a very evil sense to them, a very evil feeling to them. But they never harm anybody. Usually, I've never heard a story of them actually harming anybody. There's only like 1 or 2 stories of them coming inside, but nobody's ever died from a black eye. So I guess that's good to know. It's scary in visually, but you most likely, the chances are you're not going to die if you run into a black-eyed kid.
Yeah,
well,
for
I mean,
sure.
Unless, I guess, the ones that died, how do we know? The story's never been told.
That's a good point. I feel like if you let your fear take over too much, you could potentially die. But that's only if you like wholheartedly believe in that more.
You hear that, Justin? You might die of a heart attack if the black-eyed kid's coming to you. He's scared. He's terrified. I am not as much as him, but it's scary. All right, so let's go to our second account.
I was staying in my motorhome with my dog and got a knock on my door just around 3 a.m. It was completely pitch black, raining out, and what I noticed was a teenage girl with a hoodie on and backpack, and she had asked if she could come in. I said no and asked where are her parents. She didn't reply. I asked her if she was hungry or thirsty and dropped a lunch sack out my window for her with $20 inside. I made a comment about her safety and well-being, but again she stayed quiet. But this time she looked at my dog who was next to me and chuckled. It wasn't until my dog started going crazy that I realized this young girl was pale as a ghost, and she had strange black eyes. I immediately closed my window shut, grabbed my revolver, and watched her walk into the old railroad tracks along the highway.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta get the gun.
Yeah, I was gonna say another guy who took matters into his own hands. He ain't playing.
That's right. But what a nice guy. I never heard of anybody feeding the black-eyed kids though, and throwing them a 20.
Yeah,
that was the first one I ever heard.
That was definitely an energy thing.
Very
like
nice of him.
That is.
I don't know if she ever. I don't think she took the money, or I don't think she needs it where she's going or where she's from.
It probably didn't go anywhere. That's funny.
I'm not. I don't think I'd be involved in any black-eyed kid stories unless like they ran up on me on the street like the first lady, because I don't open my door. First of all, I don't even answer my phone, let alone open my door. So if I've gotten especially with my building, I got people knocking on my door looking for money, for crack, for whatever you need. So I don't answer for nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will never be caught up. The fact that these people the fact that you're gonna answer your mobile home door in the middle of a rainstorm in the middle of the night, I would not be doing that.
Oh no. Good luck, Charlie. You got that outside.
All right, let's go to our next one.
I once worked at a department store as a warehouse stalker guy. One night I was on a ladder and saw this girl. She looked like she was in her 20s, but was dressed like a little girl. She had blonde pigtails and a pink dress with a lacy tutu-like pink bottom on it. She was leading this old woman around the store, begging for candy and toys, much like a small child would. I thought it was odd and was just watching from 10 feet above them. The old woman was not responding and just seemed dazed as this girl was throwing things in the cart and laughing. The girl turned and made eye contact with me. And I have never been more frightened in my life. Her eyes were blacked out, like blackout contact style. She kind of snarled at me and laughed. It was terrifying. I got down that ladder in record time and went to my warehouse terrified and told my co-workers. They laughed at me and went looking for the duo and could not find them anywhere. They thought maybe it was a weird kink or something these two were playing out. The cashier said they saw the old woman buying all of the candies and toys, but there was no girl with her.
Wow. That last part is insane.
Damn.
There was no girl. Nobody saw her but him.
Yeah. So they were trying to fuck with him specifically.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you got to check the security footage at that point to see if she shows up on the camera, but I don't think she would.
I doubt it. Highly doubt it.
That's
the thing about spirit. Go ahead.
No,
go
you
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thing about spirits is like they can really appear to you as so real. It's unbelievable. That's why I mean, of course, there's countless cases where people have seen something and they know that they saw that thing, and even if no one else has, that person has, is because that spirit chose to not even materialize itself for that person, but it's messing with that person's
Like psyche.
spiritual vision. Yeah, like psyche kind of thing.
Just
So
like appearing just to them,
yes,
or
exactly.
maybe they're like on the same frequency with it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they're the only ones that could for some reason they're just vibing at the same level or they're in tune. You know what I mean? Like you probably
Yeah.
pick up on way more stuff than me if we walked in a haunted building.
Oh my
You'd probably
gosh.
be hearing shit. I'd be like, people,
You can feel
the spirits will
it.
be talking to you.
Oh, they do
Oh,
all
help
like
me, help
regardless, but you
me.
have to stay protected. That's why I stay
Help
protected.
me, get me out of here. I want to do this and that. But they won't talk to me because I don't, like I said, I don't even answer my phone. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be
they're
listening.
not
You
gonna
feel
get it.
me?
They're not gonna get in my head. They'll be
Exactly.
getting in your head though. That's the
Ye-
one of the only Black Eyed Kid stories I heard that was kind of in public around a bunch of people. So that was cool. The only other one I've heard is a very famous one, which I don't remember if I told this on the show before. I don't think I said it to you on that last show, where it was like from the account of a little boy, and his mom was getting her nails done in like this nail salon or something, and this black-eyed kid walked up to the car and asked the boy if he can come inside the car, and the boy was like, "No, like what are you doing? Like get out of here." So then it goes to the mother's perspective, and she says that the little boy walked into the salon and asked her for the keys to the car if he can get let in the car. And when she looked at him, he had the pitch black eyes, and they both saw the kid with the
God,
pitch
that's so
black eyes.
scary.
So the kid just walked into the salon in front of everybody with the pitch black eyes. That's the only other account that I remember hearing that was where the black eye kid was in public, like in a populated area.
Yeah, no, that's insane. That's definitely something. Like
And
it's
there's
all
actually there's
fun.
more because I remember I've heard a few where it's adults, like kind of like this one, the last one we just heard, but it's in
Yeah.
passing. People will see them in passing. I
Mhm.
remember now. I've read a few when I was researching this where people would pass somebody on the street and they got black eyes. I think we read the one here on where the guy was on the bus and the guy was on the back of the bus staring at the guy and he had pitch black
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah, I believe yes,
Yeah,
we did.
and people
Yeah.
report driving by other people, and they'll have the pitch black eyes. Like they'll just drive by somebody on the street, they'll have the pitch black eyes. So there are a lot of reports of black eyed, more black eyed adults in public, really. Which that's you imagine. I'm going right home.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Fuck
calling
out
an
of
Uber
here.
right there, getting the fuck out. That would be
Right?
wild, bro. That's
Like,
crazy.
it is crazy. It's real though. Shh. Can't
Well,
let
we
it
got
get to you.
something crazier. We got something crazier because along with the Black Eyed Kids, there is another entity around that is far less known, but I've heard rumblings of it for years. When I got into this whole stuff, when I got into researching the Black Eyed Kids, there was another entity that went hand in hand that there's not actually many stories of at all. When you look up Black Eyed Kids on the internet, there's many YouTube videos, there's many Reddit posts, there's all these different articles about it. But there's another one that isn't talked about that much, and that's the white-eyed kids. Oh, Justin just shit himself. I can hear it now.
I guess,
now he's messed up for real.
oh
The
my God.
white-eyed kids are as it sounds like. It's the black-eyed kids, but they just got white eyes. And
Mhm.
people say that their thing is that they're more the harbingers of death. That if you see them, that means you're gonna die or somebody you love's gonna die. Because the black eyed kids is not really known what they want or what they're there for or who they are or what do you think the black eyed kids are?
I honestly, like intuitively, I get a I just saw the word coward and fear, so I think that they're just trying to scare people. So
Right.
I feel like they're entities that feel as though, I mean, it's easy to mess with people like that, you know, because I've seen a lot of black-eyed spirits, not exactly kids or people.
Yeah.
I've seen some, but even then, those are entities that they make themselves appear as humans to
Right.
scare that person. So I believe that that's more of what that is. I feel like it has less purpose as opposed to what you're talking about with the white-eyed people.
Right.
But
I
yeah,
agree. I think that the black eyed kids are just basically entities appearing as something that would scare the shit out of you.
yeah,
Like,
to
you
get a
know,
rise
because it's
out of
even
you.
scarier for it to be like a child with black eyes. It's something way creepier about that. But the white-eyed kids, the rumor is that they kind of bring the word of death, like whether it's you or somebody else you love. So I got one white-eyed kid story that we're gonna listen to that I found on Reddit right now. This is somebody's first-hand account with a white-eyed kid. And there's not many of these.
I got a job at this retirement home after I had to move out of my parents' house at the age of 18. Finding employment was proving difficult, so my best friend's mother, Lola, did me a solid and got me a job at the place she worked. The building was old. It was formerly a train station before it was converted into a retirement home. Since it was where many people lived for the remainder of their lives, there were a lot of deaths over the years, which meant there were shadow figures. I remember asking my coworker about them, and she said it wasn't uncommon to spot one in the corner of your eye. She told me not to worry about it. They were harmless. That was about the extent of the paranormal activity I had encountered. Anyway, the day I saw the white-eyed child was just a regular work day. I worked as a dishwasher, but I also helped prep, mainly peeling potatoes and helping with other little things. So, I was on my way to the pantry to grab something when this little girl popped up in front of me. It startled me so badly that I stopped dead in my tracks, half expecting to mow a little girl down. But she was gone, just as soon as she appeared. I remember glancing around the kitchen, seeing if my other coworkers spotted the little girl, but they were all carrying on with their tasks as if nothing had happened. I recall some of her details. She wore a white, olden day dress, blonde pigtails, a white nightcap, with white eyes. I might have only seen her for a millisecond, but I'll never forget how her eyes had no irises or pupils. Beside my workstation was a door that led out to the dining room. The door had a small window. This is important to the story. These large windows in the dining room overlooked the street in front of the building. It was around 2 p.m. when I spotted red and blue flashing lights in that little window. My coworker came in shortly after in tears. I asked her what was wrong, and she informed me a resident had taken their life. For some reason, I decided to walk out of the kitchen to see that the entire street was filled with fire trucks, ambulances, and police. Again, I won't go into detail, but I will say it was horrible. I knew who the resident was. They were kind, they were caring, and they were a wonderful human being. Their passing weighed heavily on us all, making working at that place even harder. I'm unsure how to describe this next part, but the atmosphere felt heavy, not sad, but evil. I know I sound insane, but it was like on top of being sad for our friend. It was also like something had taken up residence in that building, like it was feeding off of our misery. There were a lot of deaths following this passing, a lot of health problems, and even the employees were suffering from the effects. I fell into a deep depression that I'm still suffering from, although that has been something I've been struggling with for a while.
Something is up in that building.
Some peas. That's sad.
And that is what they say about like negative energies, right? That they want to feed off of the negative energy that you give back to them. That sadness, the fear, all that stuff is like fuel to them.
Yes, it is major fuel. And I was actually thinking about that during the story when he was saying that it affected everyone very negatively, basically. And then
Yep.
he felt like something was feeding off of that. That
Exactly.
definitely, it ties in together.
It's like a cycle. They deliver the negative energy to you, and then and then you give it back to them with the fear and with the depression and all that stuff. Yeah,
They
it's
become
like a sick cycle.
and you become weaker. Yeah.
Exactly. They feed off of you. I mean, so if the speculation is correct, that's what it sounds like, because the white-eyed kid was in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, somebody committed suicide. And it wasn't like, oh, it was an old person, so they had to, they died of natural causes. It was like a suicide. They jumped off. Sounds like they jumped off the building or something like that, because it sounded like it was a messy death. So very, very bad.
I don't know that person at all, and I'm not gonna say much, but I intuitively feel like they had a lot of negative, I feel like maybe it may have been because of spirits, is like bad spirits, but I feel like they had so much negativity that piled up in their mind that it felt like overwhelming.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
probably felt like the only way out was through passing away.
I could imagine. That's what they said about the building. Like, I could imagine they said the building was like really just a bad place before that.
Yes. All that energy was probably really weighing. I feel like that person may have been really empathetic, and they probably picked up so many energies that was not meant for them.
Right. Very possible. Very possible. So that's pretty much it for the black-eyed kids. That's it for the white-eyed kids. There you go. There's not much known about the wide-eyed children. You let me know if you've seen one. You let me know if you've heard anything about it. But I still think the black-eyed children are scarier, to be real.
Yeah.
I think those are,
I feel like they're both very.
they got more of a
I feel
rep.
like they're both very weighing. I think that the black-eyed kids are more intentional, like they want to really piss your pants. But I feel like the white-eyed kids are more of just this is what's gonna
They have a
happen, and that's
purpose, like a different
yeah,
purpose. Like we're here with a message.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that black-eyed kids are usually seen together. There's multiple. It's rare you hear a story where it's just one. There's a few, but you usually hear about them when they come to people's doors. They're in like 2 or 3. But
yeah.
white-eyed children, they say, usually roll by themselves.
Mhm.
If somebody were to see them, and that's what happened in this story here. So there you go. What'd you think of that? There's some more spooky black-eyed children stories for you.
I loved it. You already know. I'm sure Justin's happy it's over now. But
He's in the corner right now. He probably paused it 5 times and he probably stopped it. Shout out to Justin.
through the
Shout out
Reddit
to
stories.
Justin. Oh yeah. So hopefully we'll come with some more of these down the line in the future. And if you've ever seen one, you let us know. Speaking of seeing things, we saw the new trailer for the movie The First Omen, the next horror movie on the chopping block for us to watch. Electra, what'd you think about that trailer?
I actually thought it was pretty good. I thought it was I mean, I feel like it didn't reveal too much, so I feel like there's definitely mystery. Like, who is this girl? What is she doing? What's the purpose? The tea.
Oh, I can tell you that right now because it was pretty. Oh, so you've never seen the Omens before?
No, hold on. So
Okay.
like I remember I went into to read some of the comments and they were saying that. They're like, "Oh, this is a new version of that movie, right?"
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about the original. You can tell me if
Oh,
you'd like.
okay. You've never seen the Omen series before, where it's
No,
basically the
no.
devil in a little boy. He's like a
Oh,
little.
okay. So that's what it
Satan
is?
Satan as a little boy. So this is this is from what I'm imagining because this is what people are saying in the comments, and I had to like clarify with people I know that are older than me that were around when the Omen pretty much came out, and they said that this is gonna be Damien's mother. The kid's name is Damien, and so
That's
this
what
is
I
him
read.
being born. Because I couldn't remember if he was like adopted or what happened in the first movie. I haven't seen it in so long. So this looks like this is when he's born.
Okay. So Damien is the
The
little boy
who's the
you said
devil.
he's possessed by the devil,
I
you
think he
said?
like is the devil or something like
Oh,
that.
is the devil.
Yeah.
So this movie is a before
Before the
movie?
Omen. Yep. Before the
Oh,
original
okay.
Omen.
I get
Mhm.
it now.
You should
All
definitely
right.
watch it. Let me know what you think about it.
Oh, that's cool. I
Well,
like
let's review
that.
this movie and then we can talk about the other ones.
Yeah, maybe I should watch this one first and then I'll watch the other ones
Yeah, just
after.
go in succession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That'll be good. It comes out April 5th, so we'll schedule it in if you want. We can
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about it when
down.
it comes out. So so continue what you thought about the trailer.
So I thought it was very interesting. I feel like it was very, how do I say it? Kind of, it seemed very scary in a way. I feel as though for myself, I have a different, because of my own experiences with paranormal, I feel like my perspective is a little different. But excuse me, I feel as though if someone who isn't as they're not as involved in that, they probably would get freaked out by something like that. And whoever that woman is, who I assume is Damien's mom, she feels evil as hell. Even I just feel
Oh
like there was
yeah.
probably maybe even an energy on set or something, but something about that movie actually feels very sinisterly dark.
Like
I don't
the
know how to
actual
explain it.
movie, not like the story.
Yeah, it's just maybe both
Oh.
included. It just feels like the energy of the movie is dark.
Uh-oh.
But interesting.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
like people are gonna claim they got haunted from watching it, like with The Exorcist and The Conjuring. Better watch it with some
Yeah,
holy water.
right?
Wow, well, you're more in tune than me, so you might be right. I don't know,
You don't see, like, I'll let you know.
but you're gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch.
That won't deter you from watching it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
I
We'll
thought
see
that
that.
I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked very much like The Nun too, though. It was like kind of like the same deal. Where they're in the
Mhm.
school, right? The girls in like a Catholic school or like a Christian school.
Something like
They're
that.
like in a
And then
boarding
they're all
school.
like kind and afraid of this one girl and
Yeah,
yeah.
it kind of very, very reminiscent of The Nun 2. Not that The Nun 2 was innovative at all. Not that it broke barriers or created a genre, but it just seems. I guess it's very close to when that came out. So it seems like very, very much like The Nun 2. And other people said that in the comments, but I think it looks good. I think it could be I think it could be better than The Nun 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Because the Nun 2 was alright, but this could be. I think this could be pretty good. I think this has a shot of knocking it out. Like you said, I don't think they gave too much away. Me watching have seen the Omens before. I kind of picked up on like little callbacks from the original movie that I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you pick up on those yourself. There was one major one that if you've seen the Omen, you know, like the part on the roof. So I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be better than the last two that we've discussed on this show. Hopefully it does not disappoint. Comes out April 5th, I believe, and we'll be back to talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You already know.
And we'll talk about the other ones because I haven't seen the other ones in so long. And I've actually never seen the original. I've seen the remake of the original. In 07, I think they came out with the Omen like remake. So I've never actually seen. So I'm gonna watch probably as many of the Omens as I can. I think there's 3 originals, 1 remake, and now we'll have this one to watch.
Hey, that's a lot.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Electra, you're on a lot of social media websites. You got a YouTube channel, so plug away. Tell us what you got going on, where to find you.
You know, you could find me as Electra Soul, Electra Soul. And I go also by like Electra Soul 444. If you look that up, you'll definitely find me. But the handle is Electra Soul on YouTube, Electra Soul 444 on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter or X. And yeah, that's basically you could just search that up alone and you'll find me. So yeah.
But beware of the imposters. There are many imposters.
Oh my goodness.
Not Electra 44444 or Electra 44. Yeah, underscore, money sign. No. There's many imposters, but heavily duplicated. But this is the original right here. You have many doppelgangers. I'm not talking to your doppelganger, am I? This is really you.
Keep that.
Okay, good. And you just started doing like some kind of like a new type of video on your channel we were talking about before we got on air. You want to talk about that? You want to plug that?
Yeah, for sure. So as everyone already knows, I already talk about a lot of manifestation, spirituality, and things like that in that area. And what I decided to do was, aside from the law of assumption, manifestation, and spiritual advices that I can give, I wanted to give advices that I know for myself has been extremely useful, things that I've learned over the course of my own experiences in my life and everything, just applying it and putting it out for people to pay attention to, whether it be as a reminder or, for something that someone can learn from, anything. But yeah, so it's just like a quick little, I don't edit it. That's the one thing. I don't trim any of it. It's from beginning to end. I'm talking straight. The only thing that I edit is I put in subtitles so people can understand it better. Nice. And yeah, that's basically it. I like how raw it is, though. I feel like it's a good touch to my channel, so beautiful. I wanted people to learn from that.
It looks good. It's a good addition to the channel.
Yeah, I appreciate
Electra
that.
Unedited. The unedited files. That's great.
That's a good way to put it.
Make sure you come back to this channel on Friday because we're going to be opening up the beautiful TikTok Coca-Cola briefcase. You can see what's inside. Obviously, we're going to be doing a taste test. Obviously, there's a Coca-Cola in here. But there you go right there. You got to see what kind of Coke this is, what it tastes like. There you have it. Oh, how's the manifestation community going? Is there any like beef? How's the actual community? I haven't went down a manifestation rabbit hole in a while. Is there anything new we need to know about? Any new topics? Any new things?
If I'm being completely real, I do not do any research on any manifestation. If I'm being honest, like I just feel I definitely would say I'm a part of a lot of different kinds of communities in that regard, but I never, ever take it upon myself to kind of, I don't know how it's not that I wouldn't branch out. It's more of just, I don't put myself into a certain clique, I guess you can say. So honestly, I wouldn't know. I just know that what I'm doing, I'm fine with.
You're the big dog. That's right.
You feel me?
You're the big dog of the community. You don't need to do anything. You just do what you got to do, and that's it.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
That's right. The big dog, Electra Soul of the manifestation community. Head honcho, the boss. Yeah, so there you have it.
Shit, you already know.
Peace and love. See you next time.